even tell you what the definition of insanity is. Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting it to change. That is crazy.
Call of Duty fans are insane. Call of Duty has been a staple in the industry for 20 plus years, from making really great titles to a game that no one really asked for.
That is one big pile of shit.
As of lately, I started to see an old trend come back into fruition, and that being just shitting down on the next Call of Duty whenever it releases. Seems like tradition at this point. But we're not here just to talk about the game, but we're talking about the community that follows up with those actions. The fans, the casuals, everything in between. And I have 3 reasons as to why I believe this community to be very off-putting when it comes down to the franchise in and of itself. The first thing we need to talk about is the community and how much they hate change. It seems as though that every single year, whenever a new Call of Duty comes out, they complain about the exact same problems that we've had since Call of Duty Ghosts. It goes like this. They praise the older titles because it's not the new Call of Duty that's messing up. And then about 10 years later, they immediately go, oh, well, Black Ops 6 wasn't like that. When the next Call of Duty called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 27, and it's about Price trying to resurrect Ghosts from the dead, like, it seriously mind boggles me because we're seeing the same problems happen every single year. Now, I'm going to exclude people who acknowledges the problems but don't care about it because they just want to have fun. To that I say, you're the best version of your community and we need more people like you to exist. But if you're the same people to complain about the game being terrible, to then look back at older titles that were identified as crappy and say, they weren't as bad as I thought they would be, you need this jacket. Like when I hear, oh, but the older Call of Duties did it better like Infinite Warfare, makes me want to peel my fingernails off because it seriously makes me mad when people go out of their way to hate on a game, then revert back to the games that they previously hated, to then praise it afterwards because of the new CODs getting quote unquote worse day by day, but they can only say that with the newer CODs. Now, I get it, because people can change their opinions with time. I get it, you're growing as a person, congratulations, I'm so proud of you for growing. But like, at the same time, what are you talking about? You said I hated Infinite Warfare because the multiplayer sucks and the microtransactions were terrible. But then they go, oh, at least it's not
Black Ops 6
trying to suck us up $100 worth of a bundle of TMNT skins. Like, fuck you. Infinite Warfare had a lot of gambling problems, as well as any other game out there during that time, but now you're gambling whether or not your skin will progress forward onto the next game or not, because Activision can't make up their damn minds. And you know what's even funny? Is that Activision purposely lies to our face every single time to save whatever face or pride they have left, to only do this again the next year. Like, we've heard about this multiple times, and then they just reverted back.
Yeah, so for the first time for Call of Duty this year, we're doing a direct sequel. You liar!
Like, oh, we won't do the skins with the anime girls or American Dad. We won't do that. Then they go and do it again. And I wouldn't be surprised if Black Ops 7 did this because their whole theme is, oh,
This isn't real.
The hell it ain't!
guess what? They're going to use that as an excuse to add in shit that doesn't make sense to have on Call of Duty to sell more of them. That's just my opinion. That's just how I see it. But it's like the Cowboy fans saying, this is our year, to know exactly that it won't be, and they still spend money on the Cowboys when they know the issues at hand can only be fixed by not spending a fucking dime on them. Also, fuck them Cowboys. I'm a Seahawks fan all the way. But another part of this issue is the division of Call of Duty games and how many there are, that it divides the community into like separate groups that are really diehard fans of one particular game. And then they go out of their way to say no other game will come close to this Call of Duty. Like, I feel as though you're lying to yourself a little bit because the newer Call of Duty titles have a good amount of content and you don't have to pay for DLC packs for like new maps and modes and shit like that. It's all free for you to get after you pay the $70 worth of a shit bag of a game. But it is still getting updated left and right with new game modes, maps, weapons, and all that stuff you would normally had to pay for back then. So technically it's all right, but at the same time, it's not all right. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of nostalgia fever that comes into play when it comes down to Call of Duty that I've seen a lot of fans go and say, oh, well, Modern Warfare 2 was the best. Advanced Warfare was the best. Black Ops 2 was the best. And I just see this cult following happen, yet they don't acknowledge that some of the newer games do have some good stuff to them, like at all. And the reason why it bothers me is because with the new additions of these new games, sure, they're not exactly what Call of Duty was, but it doesn't mean that Call of Duty isn't going to evolve. Like, I wish that Call of Duty was a free-to-play game. Then it would be justifiable to have those skin packs to be like $20 to $15. That'd be okay, right? That's whatever. But the fact that we're paying $70 still, for then people to complain about it like they're the cowboy fans, is absurd. Now, speaking of microtransactions, let's move on to the second topic, and that being the repulsiveness of the microtransactions and the community either loving it or hating it. And this has happened previously in our history of Call of Duty. People are complaining about the new skins that are really goofy and annoying to have in like Black Ops 6 or even Modern Warfare 3 and whatever else comes out. But we've seen this in previous titles. But people were okay with this. That includes the clown skin in Advanced Warfare. Deep cut, I know, but it's a problem. Look, I don't mind Activision making these skins cost this much if you were to make it, you know, whatever it is price you want to make. That's the player's choice to buy it. I'm not going to buy it because I see it as a problem and I don't get enough content out of it. But to say that the skins here are worse than the skins that we had back in the day, you got me fucked up. It's always been like this when they added in the operator skin packs. And I think the last time I can recall this was either Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4. It was pretty bad back then. I mean, have you seen some of the skin packs in Black Ops 4? They were disgusting. They were awful. Not many people wanted to buy these skins in the first place because they just looked that bad. They much preferred if they just went back to the roots of having custom skin weapons that were really cool. That's fine. That's cool. But it's the fact that we have these skins now where it is very animated and over the top that people are complaining about it now when we had this shit back then makes me think that they're literally insane because they don't remember that we had these kinds of skins back then. The only difference now is that Black Ops 6 and the newer titles are making it somewhat work by making it look polished enough, even though it doesn't fit with the style or the lore of the game. And I heavily disagree on the skins being in there. They still work because they look polished enough. I just feel as though that a lot of COD players who go into this route look in the past with rose-tinted glasses thinking that those games were peak. When in reality, Activision has been doing the same thing since Black Ops 3 with the black market. Like seriously, how about that? And the only time that we've actually been able to make this problem change is by getting the government to step in to see the problems at hand. But the COD community couldn't just stop buying these games in the first place. You know, there's a thing called speaking with your wallet, right? If you don't spend a dime on the game, that makes the people think, oh, we need to change our approach in order to make this game good and worthwhile to purchase. But every time someone purchases Call of Duty, guess what? They're saying, oh, this is working. Okay, let's just keep doing this. Especially with content creators who say that they hate Call of Duty, yet have gameplay footage in the background while shit talking about what Call of Duty is doing wrong. Now, I know I sound hypocritical when I'm saying I hate Call of Duty and their fans, and then I'm playing Call of Duty in the background, but it's a love-hate relationship with Black Ops 3. More on that in the future for another video. And you know what's even worse? Is with talking about microtransactions and people buying into these skins, even with a community member talking about adding in a switch to turn off skins, people are still complaining that they can't show off their dumbass skins. Like, are we lost? Am I lost? What is lost? Apparently it's right here, which actually translates perfectly to my final point, and I believe this will be a good, short, and sweet conversation. And before this video ends, if you liked the video thus far, hit the like button, be much appreciated. The community hates itself. Like, we're to a point with the community that they are so stubborn that when they try to switch to another game, that they're asking that other game becomes the next Call of Duty. And obviously this is in reference to like Tim the Tatman, Nick Merckx, and all these other content creators trying to change Battlefield 6 or other games to be Call of Duty, and I find it to be really annoying because a lot of the times Call of Duty is Call of Duty. That they're trying to make other games into Call of Duty and try to compete with it so it's better. Like, obviously people are so frustrated with Call of Duty, and especially the fans, to the point where they're trying to change other games to be the golden age of what Call of Duty used to be, which isn't right at all, and that's really messed up. Now, as I'm editing this, funny enough, I got a video popped in my feed by the Kingard, who basically is talking about COD streamers versus Battlefield's identity. I'll put a link in the description down below for this video. But essentially, he talks about FaZe Swag, who is basically trying to push an agenda onto Battlefield, saying that it should be like Call of Duty, adding in these movement, techs, and whatever else. And it makes me realize that the COD community, either one, hate COD so much that they want other games to be similar to COD so they can leave Call of Duty. Two, they're asking for other games to be actual competitors so Call of Duty can be better. Or three, if they're content creators, they don't really have a way for them to make good content and they solely rely on Call of Duty and they're sick and tired of it, but they don't have a way to pivot out of it. And that indicates to me that they're bad content creator if they can't make videos on other games that they can enjoy. That's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm just saying some of them are stuck to Call of Duty because they don't know what else to fucking make. But yeah, that's it for me. I really do believe that Call of Duty fans, especially the hardcore ones, are by definition insane if they're the ones complaining about the game but still play it. That's just how it is. And let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts with the COD community? If you're part of the COD community, do you really hate Call of Duty? Do you like Call of Duty? Do you hate the community itself? Let me know in the comments down below, because I know damn well it's pretty toxic in there sometimes. It just feels like a gateway to just pure hate and debates rather than an easy combo to talk about the good times or the gameplay experiences or even funny memes. It just hurts because I used to love Call of Duty and now it's just gone. But that's it for me, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more content like this. Deuces, take care, everyone.